when the director gives zero fucks. When a film dares to confront entrenched narratives, it ceases to be mere entertainment and becomes a statement. For decades, the portrayal of espionage and geopolitics in mainstream Bollywood has often followed a predictable propagandist path, one that frequently glosses over the harsh realities of cross-border terrorism, romanticizes enemies, or prioritizes spectacle over substance. We have been conditioned to accept spy thrillers featuring exotic dance numbers, interagency romances, and convoluted moral relativism. However, with Dhurandhar, director Aditya Dhar issues a bold, unapologetic challenge to that cinematic status quo. This is a film born from a refusal to compromise, a vision driven by the simple necessity of showing truth, regardless of how inconvenient or uncomfortable it may be for certain factions. When a director gives zero fucks to pleasing political lobbies or adhering to established industry norms, the result is raw, gritty, and fiercely patriotic film like Dhurandhar. The director's courage is evident not just in the film's subject matter, but in the hostile reception it has faced, with negative campaigns and fake reviews emerging even before its release. Dhar stands tall against this resistance, refusing to sell his soul for commercial or political expediency. His vision is not to peddle a masala action film, but to deliver a politically charged, brutally realistic thriller that exposes the deep-rooted truth of terrorism emanating from Pakistan, making it a pivotal moment for a new wave of Indian filmmaking. Dhurandhar is a slow-burning espionage thriller inspired by chilling real events. Unlike its genre contemporaries, it forgoes the glossy, over-the-top antics for a grounded, authentic story. The central action is set primarily in Lehri, Pakistan, a locality explicitly depicted as the notorious hub for global terrorism, the supply chain for the guns and ammunition used in catastrophic events worldwide. The film directly and unflinchingly asserts Pakistan's involvement in every major terror attack, from the 2001 Parliament attack in India and 9/11 in America to the devastating 26/11 attacks in Mumbai. The narrative hook involves Ranveer Singh as Indian secret agent Hamza, who is tasked with the monumental mission of infiltrating the Lahiri gang to disrupt and take control of the terror network in Karachi. Hamza's goal is simple yet profound: prevent the next generation of attacks like those that have plagued India for decades. It is crucial to note that Aditya Dhar initially captured over 7 hours of footage. In a decisive and wise move, he chose not to dilute the story but to release it as a two-part saga. This first part, which clocks in at a substantial 3 hours and 34 minutes, is a deliberate, painstaking setup for the final confrontation in Part 2, releasing on March 19, 2026. This decision gives the screenplay unnecessary complexity and depth that a condensed film could never achieve, albeit leading to some of the film's few flaws. While Hamza's journey is the film's spine, Dhurandhar is defined by its powerful ensemble, particularly the antagonists who create the monstrous world our spy must navigate. The Menace, Akshay Khanna, the standout performance that truly elevates the film into the realm of high-stakes political drama, belongs to Akshay Khanna as Rahman Baluch. From the trailer it was clear Khanna would deliver, but his actual portrayal transcends expectations. He's an absolute menace, embodying the cruelty and sheer unpredictability of a terror mastermind. His perfection lies in the details, the subtle mannerism, the unnerving way he moves his face, the chilling smile after committing an act of violence. Khanna doesn't just play a villain, he's the face of the existential threat, making Hamza's mission feel genuinely impossible. The Spy, Ranveer Singh. Ranveer Singh as Hamza delivers a performance of remarkable control and grittiness. The commendable achievement here is that the viewer sees only the deep coverage in Hamza and not the star, Ranveer Singh. He carries the immense emotional burden of the character. The highlight of his acting prowess comes in a deeply poignant scene where he is forced to celebrate 26/11 attack alongside Major Iqbal and his associates. Hamza must actively fight to stop himself from crying, knowing one slip, one visible tear would blow his cover and lead to instant execution. This moment of suppressed patriotism and grief is incredibly raw and emotionally resonant. The demonic force, Arjun Rampal. Arjun Rampal as the ISI Major Iqbal perfectly captures the demonic nature of those who orchestrate terror. His portrayal is that of a monstrous animal whose sole purpose is to bleed India. A key sequence where he tortures an Indian agent is deliberately gruesome and nightmarish. The scene is not for shock value, it serves as a raw reminder of the cruelty that backs the state-sponsored terrorism, lending weight to the film's central thesis. The supporting cast for the most part contributes effectively to the high-stakes narrative. R. Madhavan as the Indian agent delivers a short but captivating performance, with an unusual creative choice to have him break the fourth wall in one scene, a stylistic flourish that works in the moment. Unfortunately, Sanjay Dutt's brief role feels largely wasted. The actor appears to be sleepwalking through a role that feels too familiar and lacks the intensity required by the surrounding narrative. Furthermore, the love interest played by Sara Arjun feels like the most distracting element. She does what she can in a huge ensemble, but her underdeveloped subplot, which feels unnecessary for a film of this tone, unfortunately tests the viewer's patience in a few sequences. Where Dhurandhar truly separates itself from Bollywood convention is in its uncompromising commitment to gritty realism and bold technical choices. Aditya Dhar's direction is meticulous and deliberate. He structures the film with a chapter-based approach which gives the sprawling narrative a structured, serious tone that is easy to digest and creates immediate engagement with every new section. This is the mark of a director serious about his craft. Dhar utilizes a series of creative choices that ground the film in undeniable reality, use of real footage, incorporating actual footage of the 2001 Parliament attack and of Kasab during 26/11 Mumbai attacks adds a level of undeniable authenticity and rawness rarely seen in Hindi cinema, transforming the film from a fictional tale into a historical document. The red screen sequence. This is arguably the most suffocating and gut-wrenching sequence in the film. The screen turns red and the audience hears the real voice recordings of the terrorists during the 26/11 attack. This brilliant, unsettling moment bypasses the visual, using only auditory realism to invoke anxiety, anger, and a profound sense of anguish, echoing the rawness one might expect in French cinema. The action choreography aligns perfectly with this tone. It's brutal, gory, and grounded. None of the violence feels gracious. It is calculated to show the severity of the world Hamza has entered. There are no wirework acrobatics or cheap VFX. The action is tangible and gritty, a direct result of the excellent production design and the choice of real location, which immerse the viewer into the harsh reality of Lahiri. Against the backdrop of darkness and terror, the film finds an incredible creative balance in its soundtrack. Aditya Dhar proves his mastery in score selection and remixing. The use of old Hindi music, brilliantly remixed and integrated into the narrative, is a major highlight. The music is evocative and surprisingly infectious, elevating the energy of certain sequences. The sheer creative choice in music is so effective that it draws comparison. Aditya Dhar is fast turning into the James Gunn of Indian cinema for his ability to perfectly blend contrasting music with intense, often brutal sequences. Dhurandhar, for all its uncompromising vision, it's not without flaws. The most apparent issue is its substantial 3-hour and 34-minute runtime. While Dhar wanted to tell the complete story, the film suffers from noticeable pacing issues, particularly in the first half, where the narrative occasionally feels slow. As noted, the subplot involving Hamza's romantic interest is the primary culprit, feeling like a misplaced distraction that drags the flow. Furthermore, as a two-part setup, the film inherently feels incomplete. It is a setup, a preamble to the main war, and this structural necessity may leave a slightly sour taste for audiences expecting a resolved narrative. We can only fully judge the strength of the overall story once Part 2 concludes Hamza's mission. However, these structural critiques pale in comparison to the film's powerful achievement. Dhurandhar is a seminal work for a new generation of Indian filmmakers unafraid to show that terrorism is unequivocally rooted in Pakistan and to call out the historical blunders of previous governments. This is not a jingoistic masala film. It is raw, gritty, politically charged thriller, a complex piece of cinema that respects the sincerity of its audience and rewards multiple viewings to grasp all the political and narrative nuances. It is a patriotic film that avoids the cliches of flag waving to instead focus on the silent, brutal sacrifices of its agents and the truth they fight for. Dhurandhar is a must watch for any sincere audience looking for an authentic, hard hitting spy film. Go for the uncompromising direction, the technical brilliance, the gut wrenching realism, and above all, for Akshay Khanna's absolute mastery as the terrifying antagonist. It sets an unprecedented standard for the genre.